needle drops. Anthony Fantano here. I'm a little under the weather right now, but even though I'm cold and my nose is stuffy, I have to put on this sweater, get warm, roll up my sleeves, and do an album review of the new Belle and Sebastian LP, Write About Love. Belle and Sebastian is a Scottish band, and this is what I believe to be their 8th LP of original studio material. And sure, these guys are labeled as being an indie pop group, a twee pop group, baroque pop, chamber pop, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of bands that fit into that genre or style, but Belle and Sebastian, more than any other group, to me, has always represented the pure sound of sweetness, of soothing innocence. Music that, if it were a person, it would be just the most, the nicest, most unassuming guy you would ever meet. He doesn't have a bleak outlook on the world, but does admit his problems, admits his faults, and feels almost anything can be resolved with either love or prayer. It's a narrative we've heard the band play with lyrically again and again and again, and on Write About Love, they round many of the same bases. But the band does make a conscious effort here and there to not repeat themselves stylistically on this album, like on the track Little Lou, Ugly Jack, Prophet John, that actually features guest vocals from Norah Jones, which is a collaboration that on paper, in my head, seems like awful, terrible, but in practice kicks complete ass. I'm Not Living in the Real World kind of steps outside of Belle and Sebastian's comfort zone a little bit, because it is so mind-blowingly upbeat. And not that these guys aren't an upbeat band, but this track is so bright it really took me off guard, even though I wasn't really enjoying it all that much. Another track I'm not really digging is the title track, the lead single, Write About Love, which actually also relies on a little bit of star power from actress Carey Mulligan on vocals. And the reason I didn't really like this track too much is just that it had this really cinematic or theatrical narrative to it that might have fit a lot better on an album like God Help the Girl. Now, despite a couple lows, Belle and Sebastian still write some seriously great songs on this thing. An example for me is the second track of the album, Come On Sister, which I'm pretty sure from beginning to end is just made of pure magic, and the song I Want the World to Stop is just as catchy, just as immediate. And there's some real growers on this album too, like the Ghost of Rock School, which comes on very easy, very sleepy, but has a great groove to it. And as the song progresses, it only gets softer, but in that softness that it grows into, it feels like it just gets so much more distinct, so much more defined. It borrows from a lot of 60s garage rock and has a great groove going for it too. It reminds me a lot of the Velvet Underground, actually, if the Velvets had converted to Christianity and dropped the drugs and artsy attitude. For me, the rest of this album is just filled with a lot of meh moments that are kind of created by just my familiarity with Belle and Sebastian's earlier work. And it's really hard not to compare this new album with the older stuff, simply because Belle and Sebastian, as a band, are roughly shooting for the same target that they have been for over 10 years. As far as this type of music goes, a brand of pop that takes its coffee with a lot of cream and a lot of sugar, Belle and Sebastian is still going to be your #1 destination for this year. The band is an established name when it comes to this stuff. If you want more of the same, then head right here, because these guys know how to spin this yarn. They've had years and years of practice. I'm feeling a weak 6 on this thing. Maybe a strong 5. However, I still see this LP as a possible entry point for somebody who's never heard of Belle and Sebastian before and may be interested in checking out their music, getting acquainted with it. What do you guys feel about this album? Is it the best thing Belle and Sebastian has come out with? Is it a decent follow-up to 2006's The Life Pursuit? And what did you think of God Help the Girl? And also, what is your favorite Belle and Sebastian album and favorite track from this LP? Alright guys, Anthony Fantano, Belle and Sebastian, Write About Love, forever.